Hello and welcome everyone to another StageDesigner tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to see how to use sets and patches in live situations, or create playlists out of them, or simply to use them during rehearsals or other use cases. For that, I have loaded already a number of preloads here. I'm going to go ahead and play two of these clips on top of each other. I'm going to do some changes to the scale, to other options, to the render mode. Once I'm satisfied with this composition that I made, I go to sets. I'm going to go ahead and click on create patch. Before I do that, I'm going to select which of these two tracks I'm going to create the patch from. In this case, I'm going to click on track 1. I'll click on create patch. I can rename the patch to the name that I want it to be, patch 1. Click on OK. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two clips. And now if I'm in a live situation, for example, and I want to recall the same exact composition that I made before, I can simply click on play here, and my patch is going to be exactly loaded and played in the composition that exact composition that I made before. I can also do the same with the play button here, and my patch is going to be played. I can do the same with another two video. I can play these two videos on top of each other. I can do some changes and do some scaling. Once I'm done with the composition, I go ahead and click on create patch again. The software asks me if I would need to replace this patch or I need a new one. I'm gonna select the new and name it patch 2. Click on OK. Now I have created two patches, and I can play them one by one by clicking play here, or use this navigator down here to play the two sets. And let's say I'm done with all the patches that I wanted to create, and I want to make a playlist out of these patches. What I can do is I can just click and drag and drop these sets onto any of these cues on my playlist. Now I have made a playlist cue list from this patch that I have made. I can do the same with the second one. I can just drag it onto the playlist and put it anywhere that I want. So I created now a playlist out of these patches that I have. If I want to delete any of these patches, I can simply right click on them and select delete here. I can save this patch from this menu. I can load it into another project if I need to, and I can simply clear this whole set, and I can import, which means I can add to these sets from another file that I have saved before. And inside of each of these patches, there are also multiple options. I have the options to adjust the fade in, which means how long it's gonna take for the patch to be visible. So simply the fade in for the patch. I can select to which of my tracks am I going to send this patch for the playback. I can change that. Usually as default is on active, which means this one right now. And I have the option to activate and deactivate sequel patch. What the sequel patch does is that, let's say I have created the first patch with these two clips. I can go ahead and create a second patch, and this time I'm going to use this one clip and maybe this one clip. I have done my adjustments. I go to the sets, I create a second patch or a third patch in this situation. I'm going to name it patch 3. So what I have right now is that I have the same clip on the first patch and the third patch, and I don't want the first clip, the same clip which is in the two of these sets. I want it to continue the playback, and I don't want it to be restarted. So I can here activate the sequel patch, and on this one also. And that means if I would play this, the video is going to be played, and if I click on play here, the video that is the same is going to stay in play. It's not going to be restarted. And that I can also deactivate. And when I deactivate this, I'm going to have the option to set wipe mode, which means if instead of just a simple fade between the two patches, I can also select other fades which are available from this list. I can select, for example, circular, which means I'm going to have this effect. There are multiple ones to choose from for these patches to use in live situations or rehearsals. And I have the option also to use the patch in and trigger it with different DMX trigger values. And I can here set the trigger channel that I need to use or the value that I want to use. And if I would have a DMX device connected to my StageDesigner, I can use it to trigger these patches. I can also rename the patch here by clicking on the name. And as I said, from this menu, I can save, load, clear, and import patches. I hope you're enjoying using this software and these tutorials, and hope to see you in another